I'm going to teach you how to water your lawn successfully and appropriately to have that green, lush lawn you want without breaking the bank. So obviously water is a very important part of having a successful lawn, and we also have to consider that water is a very scarce and precious resource. So what I'm going to teach you today on how to water your lawn is very simple. It applies to everybody, and you're going to get the greenest lawn possible with spending the least amount of money from a watering standpoint. So what we need to do is, first of all, we need to decide how many days we're going to water our lawn. And the optimal time is 3 days a week. Now, sometimes I know you have watering restrictions depending on what city you're in. And if that's the case, they're usually 2 days a week. So we can just adjust this to 2 days a week in those situations. But generally 2 days a week is not enough during June, July, and August, our super hottest months of the season. So for 3 days a week, we're going to water 3 days a week. You can pick any 3 days you want. I like to separate them out throughout the week and scatter them so there's no 2 days that are watering together. And we're going to water twice a day on those 3 days. So morning and evening. And you want to water early in the morning where the heat's not intensive. I'm talking 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And in the evening, say 8, 9 o'clock. Those are the best times to water because the sun is not ripping that moisture out of the lawn. So 3 days a week, twice a day. And the reason why I say twice a day is because a lot of times here we have this clay soil. And what happens is the water just runs off that soil and doesn't do any good if it doesn't go down into the root system. So by watering twice a day, 3 days a week, it allows that water to slowly seep into the ground and get into the root system. And again, we can't water the lawn forever because with this clay soil, it just runs off the dirt. That's why we're choosing twice a day. There's 2 types of heads we need to consider. Obviously, there's a lot of types of sprinkler heads, but there's 2 main categories. There's spray heads, which continuously spray the same area throughout the watering cycle. Those are considered spray heads. Then we have gear drives or impulse heads. These heads slowly move across the lawn and spray the area of the lawn at one time. They're not like a spray head where they're continuously spraying the same spot. They actually move with a gear or with an impulse and move across the lawn. And the reason why I wanted to call these 2 different types of sprinkler heads out, because we need to set different watering times based on the type of head we're using on that particular zone. So if you have a spray head, what I recommend you do is set it for 15 minutes a zone twice a day. So that's, if it's running in the morning, it's running for 15 minutes on that zone, and the evening, it's doing it another 15 minutes. For the gear drives, I recommend running those for 30 minutes. 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening during those 3 days a week. And the reason why the gear drives have to run longer is because they're not watering the same spot continuously. They're moving throughout the lawn, so they're not putting as much water down in a specific area, but they're usually covering a larger area. Now let's go take a look and see this in action. So these are spray heads. You can see they're continuously spraying the same area throughout the whole cycle. These are the heads you want to run for 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening during those 3 days a week. And as you can see, they continuously spray the same area. So this is a great example of a spray head that's going to spray the same area over and over again. And again, these are the ones you want to run for 15 minutes a zone. So here's a great example of a gear head. You can see it slowly moves and sprays an area of the lawn at one time, but it's covering a much larger area. These are the type of heads that you want to set for 30 minutes a zone. And the reason why you want to set them for 30 minutes, which is twice as long as a spray head, is because they're not spraying the same area continuously. You can see how this head's moving over to the right, and it's covering the entire area that it needs to, but not all at once like the spray head. So it's just going to need a longer amount of time to get the same amount of water down. I wanted to point out, even though you have a sprinkler system, it doesn't mean you're not going to have any dry spots, because when it gets hot, the sprinkler system is going to show all the weak spots it has. And it's going to show you by showing you these dead spots like this or drought spots. And so when you see these, it's a good sign to say, hey, this particular sprinkler head may not be watering correctly, or It's just not getting enough water in that area. And what I do personally, these only come out for me in my lawn in July and August when it's super hot. So I just hand water these areas. So don't be afraid to hand water the areas that are not looking good and are not getting enough water, because it's just a part of life. The system is not perfect and it's not going to handle all the problems 100% of the time. So let's review. There's two types of heads. There's spray heads, which continuously spray in the one spot, and there's gear heads that rotate and move. We also need to water our lawn 3 days a week, twice a day. Now again, if you're on watering restrictions, you can move that to 2 days a week, twice a day. But the twice a day is very important. And let's look at it this way. Whether you're taking care of your lawn yourself or you're hiring a lawn care company to do it, you're spending a lot of money with the products or the service that they're doing to keep that lawn green, lush, and weed-free. It's in your best interest to learn how to water appropriately and give that grass the water it needs so you can achieve the goal which you really want in the first place, is that green, weed-free lawn. As always, thanks for watching, and remember, it's been statistically shown that green grass makes you smile.